Okay, well, it is about 1:30 in the afternoon. Back from Wilcon. Now, this is all my existing stuff. I had it laid out because these are the ways that I'm going to make the interfaces between the sprinklers and the PPR pipes. So I knew I had enough of the equipment just for the connections right here. But I had to get other things for all the pipes that are going to be run from the backyard to the front yard. And that's what these are here. Lots of couplers, elbows, regular couplers, and I can't remember. Oh, Teflon tape. I need Teflon tape. So I got all of that. Now, let me show you something that might be of significant interest to you. Now, I believe I talked earlier the difference between a PVC pipe and PPR pipe and why I went with the PPR pipe. PPR pipe's good for irrigation. It's good for gardens and greenhouses and things like that. PVC can also be used for that as well. If I were in the US, I would be using something like Schedule 40 PVC to do my pop-up irrigation, as long as all the PVC is buried underground, because PVC is really bad when it comes to UV rays. You can't have it above ground. You either have to have it coated, you have to paint it, you have to do something, because UV will deteriorate PVC pipe. PPR, I don't think has that same characteristic. I'm going to have to look that up to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Plus, this is much thicker than Schedule 40 PVC. Now, also, the PVC that's available in the Philippines, a lot of people use the blue PVC pipe to do some of their outdoor gardening and things like that. They'll put a ball valve on there, and they'll put the PVC pipe, and they'll hook it up to sprinklers or a faucet or something like that. But the PVC here in the Philippines, the thickness of it that's available where I've seen in Wilcon and the other type of big box stores, the PVC wall is very thin. Now, if it's thin and you put it in some place that has a lot of gravel, you bury it and it has gravel underneath, say like a rock, like something like this right here, and you put pressure on it, you can pierce, you can break into the PVC, and you can get a leak at some point. This pipe that we have here, the PPR pipe, it's extremely thick, it's extremely durable, and I would not worry about compression on top of some rocks. I don't think we'll ever have any vulnerabilities of leaks. Now I decided to walk back here into the backyard to show you the difference between what I bought today for PPR and what I put down here. And I'm surprised none of the subscribers from the Philippines didn't call me on this. And I wish you would have. You could have possibly saved me a lot of money. But there are different color coatings on the outside of pipe. There's actually different colors of pipe. You have specialty pipe, which is like the gray with a certain color stripe on it. You have the white with a certain color stripe on it. And it all has to do with hot water, cold water, the quality, the higher quality, the lower quality of pipes that you have. Now, I originally used, if you remember, we'll take a look, but you see the red stripe on this pipe. Now, all that pipe that I use back here is the same pipe that we use throughout the house. And it is hot and cold water pipe, and I totally forgot about that. So I went out and I bought the hot and cold water pipe. And what is the garden? What is the irrigation? It's all cold water. So I overpaid, way overpaid for what I have out here, for what I already installed. Now today I was looking, I'm like, oh gosh. Blue for cold water, red for hot and cold water, and I went and I looked at the prices underneath the PPR pipe that was on the shelf in the store, and it was a significant difference in price. The hot and cold water, it was like 120 pesos per 4-meter section, more than the blue striped one, which is for cold water only. And I mean, we're not doing any excessive pressures. We're not doing like 120 or 160 psi or anything like that. We're doing somewhere between 30 and 60 psi for all of our pressure here. So I did not need to buy the red stripe PPR pipe. Well, anyway, live and learn. I saved a lot of money today by going and picking up the blue stripe. Again, about 120 pesos. Now, if you want to do a price comparison between PVC and PPR, I think I actually put it down on a note. Let me see if I can find a note on my phone here. Okay, well, I had to get out of the sun. The sun was so bright in my eyes I couldn't see the screen of the phone. Well, anyway, for comparison purposes only, for pricing comparison purposes, between PVC and PPR. Now, in the U.S., Schedule 40, a 10-foot section of 3/4 inch PVC is approximately $2.71 for that 10-foot section, or the equivalent in pesos, 141 pesos. Now, let's move up to the higher quality material, which is the PPR. PPR, 3/4 inch again, by 3 meters, is approximately 340 pesos for the blue, 340 pesos, or an equivalent of about $6.50 US dollar. And then if you go to the red, the higher quality for hot and cold water, it is for about 460 pesos, the equivalent of about a little less than $9, $8.85 US dollar. So you see, from PVC, you a little over double your price from PVC, the PPR cold water. And then if you go to the hot water, which is when we wasted a lot of money on, it's over 3 times. It's 3.5 times the price of what you would pay for PVC. But again, it's more durable. It should last a long time. And it's what we're using here. But now we're using the cold water. So anyway, I need to get back. I need to start laying some pipe on the ground in preparation for my gardener to come out and start digging the trenches so we can drop all the pipe down in the ground. And then hopefully today I can show you a test of what it looks like popping up from in the ground, and the water patterns as it's spraying. Now, before I get started on doing the pipe out here, I have a couple of belated birthday shout-outs. All right, guess who popped up while I was doing, this is a video bomber right here. Anyway, she said she wanted to help out with today's birthday shouts.
I'm the wife.
I am a little bit behind. I'm a little bit behind on birthday shout-outs because we haven't done a video over the last few days, like I said earlier today. So we are a few days behind, and we're going to do some belated catch-up birthday shout-outs. And the first one is a belated birthday shout-out for February 1 from Mark Alakaya. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce, I'll let Ness pronounce his wife's name. He said don't forget to do a belated birthday shout-out for his wife's
Jenny Ever.
And her birthday was January 22nd. Anyway, Mark wanted everybody to know that he is working really hard to make a good life for the family of 3. And he's working 2 jobs to get that done. He works at a call center at night, and he's a plumber by day. So anyway, hey Mark, you know, everybody needs a good plumber. Send me your contact information in your area of responsibility. And what I will try to do, I will try to hook you up with some clients. And our last birthday shout out is for February 2nd. It's a couple of days old. And it is for Dodger Davis's wife, Cecilia
Pilar Davis.
Pilar Davis. Thank you for the help on that. And a couple live in Florida right now. Now, Cecilia is from
Tagbilaran,
Bohol. So anyway, to the birthday recipients of the past, we want to wish you all a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Now, before I get carried away with doing all the long run of the PPR to the front yard, which I'm about halfway there anyway right now, I want to do something for an upgrade later on. I don't want to do it right away because it's going to be labor intensive. I want sprinkler heads inside both of the planters. So all this can be managed with the pop-up sprinkler in the application. Make it very simple as possible. But since I did not run the pipe inside here before I filled it in, that means I have to extract a bunch of the soil. So what I'm going to do for today, I'm going to run pipe from the wall across here, and I'm going to bring it back over to this section right over here. I've already done a little bit of it on this side, you can see. And then I'm going to cap both of them off. Then what I'll do is eventually I'm going to remove this. I'm going to take one side of the section. I'm going to try to extract as much of soil that it's clear. I'll drill a hole below the stone, go inside the planter, run some PPR up here, and then we'll do an L over to the center. We'll have a small, or maybe just drip irrigation. I'm not really sure. I don't have the devices yet anyway. That's why this is going to be a future upgrade, because I don't believe I have anything that I can do that with right now. But I want to do this now so I don't have to worry about it later on. So later on, I'll just dig up. We'll just put this shallow. We'll run this shallow so you don't see it. Capped off. We'll set it underneath the ground. Later on, I'll come and I'll pull it up. Run the pipe inside there, so both of these planters have automatic sprinkler systems inside there, so we don't have to pull out a hose for that as well. So let me get started on that. I'm going to run that, and then we'll continue on with this pipe that takes us to the front. This one right now, it's going to hold zone, I think this is zone 3, which is one small pop-up sprinkler back there, the 2 planters right here. And I'm going to run 2 heads inside here that spray back towards the wall, but do it in a rectangular pattern where it doesn't dump water over on the truck when it's parked in the driveway. Now before I go any further, you saw I just did a couple of the fusion walls inside here. You use this little device right here. It's kind of like a Teflon coated connector that has a male side and a female side. The female side goes over this male side, and whatever your coupling connector end cap, whatever it is that's going on the end, that's the female side. So you put this one into the female side, this one to the male side. You make sure that this is set to green. That means it's at the operating temperature to do the appropriate melting. And then you fuse them together. You push them, you go as far as they will go together. And here, you stay there for about 5 seconds. Then you take it off and you put it on here. And then you want to make sure you have a little bead. You push it up so far so you get it. This will tell you have a good seal, or it will tell you you're deep enough, you're far enough inside. Mainly when you push it, it won't go any further, and that's about where you are. Don't let it heat up too long, because if it gets too hot and it melts too much, what'll end up happening is you'll restrict the size of the hole, the inside diameter of the hole, and you'll have some friction loss with water going through there. So anyway, again, this is very simple. If you want to take this task on yourself, very easy setup. The fusion welding device, your PPR pipe, and you just put them together, and that's it. And I feel it's a really good alternative to the PVC cement that you would normally use for doing PVC together. I like this. What it does, it actually takes this, it melts this and this at the same time, and it becomes one sealed unit. So everything, your elbows, your couplers, everything, this becomes one solid piece all the way through. It's kind of Okay, now this is the moment that I'm always concerned about, and this is where you test your zone. I test one zone at a time before I go on to the next. And I'm on zone 3 right now, and I actually added, let me show you. Remember that area I was concerned about by the Baja Cubo that didn't have a pop-up sprinkler? Well, after I recalculated, I must have done a pretty good job ordering the parts, but I did a bad job of ordering extras, because I believe we have exactly 100% of what we need to cover every one of the zones here, every part of the yard in this lot, on this lot. So, what are you doing? You're acting crazy. Quit acting so crazy. So anyway, the one I just added, is this one right here. And what I did was I put a rectangular where it hugs the fence, and it sends a 5 foot, which is about what I need, is about 5 foot to cover this area on this side right here. That was an extra one. So on zone 3, I have that one back there, this one right here. I will have one in each one of the boxes, and this will be a very low flow. So pretty much no matter what I put there when it goes to low flow, it won't affect the volume. Then I have these 2 smaller ones right here, and these again are rectangular. Then I have a couple of heads that I put. It actually seems like a lot of heads, but they're low volume. So I have this one, a little pop-up right here, and I have another pop-up. Well, it's not a pop-up, it's a telescopic one where I can adjust it depending on the shrubs that we have here. Well, I am going to test this out, but you know what? You're not going to get to see it because I just got a low battery warning and the camera's getting ready to shut off. So I'm going to bring the camera inside the house, and I'm not copying out. I promise you I'm not copying out, trying to skip anything to show you. But I'm going to bring it inside the house. I'm going to get the battery charged. I'm going to test the system. Realize also that I have to do an adjustment of every one of the heads because who knows what direction. They might be shooting directly behind it right onto the wall. So let me do that, get you charged up on my GoPro I'm talking about, and then we'll come back out and we'll see if this actually worked for zone 3. Right, well, it is after 5 o'clock, and I'm actually watering using the first zone that I put down, or I think this is zone 2 right here. And you see that one's way up in the air because we haven't finished doing the trenching beyond that. So tomorrow, that's the plan for tomorrow. Buried right now, this portion right here. And a little bit more over here to the fence. Now this is working real good, but I had already tested this out. I knew this was going to work real good. Nothing should have changed on that. Now what we did today, zone 3, the one I said I thought all of those sprinkler heads would work and I would have plenty of water. Well, my calculation wasn't that good. And I tell you like it is. If I make a mistake, I'm sharing my mistake with you so you don't make the same mistake too. Even though I had the larger diameter, normally people will use 1/2 inch either PVC or 1/2 inch PPR to do their irrigation. I use 3/4 because the larger the size of the pipe or the diameter, you have more water flow going through it. But I didn't take into consideration the calculation for the length. Now from the cistern all along the back over to the first head over there, I added a second head there. The 2 heads along the driveway, the directional heads that I have over there, plus the 2 telescopic heads in the garden all the way in the front, and the growth of the 2 heads that aren't there yet for the garden. They're just capped off for the planters, for the planters. Now that's a lot of heads. Even though they're low flow with the friction loss for the long run, it just wasn't enough. I was just getting a sputter out of all of them. Well, let me show you what I am getting now. I'll change over from zone 2, move over to zone 3. Now let me show you what I have. I am only running right now 2 heads, and that's back on Bahikubo Island over here. Plus it will eventually go to the planters that's connected to that. I'll show you where I actually made the snip. But as you can see, I hope you can see, this pop-up sprinkler is working fine. It's getting this area over here done, nice and wet. And then we have this pop-up sprinkler back here. And once it's buried, it'll hit the area of coverage that it needs to do as well here. So this whole area will be done. This area will be nice and wet. And this area over here is going to be covered by the zone, I think zone 1, which is that guy over there, will cover this area. So this whole area is covered well. Let me show you where I had to make the snip over here. And that was where this was going all the way, handling 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 more heads down there. I cut it off at the T right here, and what we'll do is we'll run an independent pipe from here to another zone. It will go up around, so we'll have 3 pipes going there, and then 4 pipes along the back, because we're going to go out the back section for drip irrigation for outside the fence line, and then it goes around. So 3 zones right now, 4 zones by tomorrow, and then hopefully, and that should be very quick to run that, because it's a bunch of straight runs. And then we'll start working here, heading for the front yard, which will be the Zen garden and the entire front yard, 4 pop-up sprinklers like this one right here, this Hunter. Now one more test again. I'm gonna just put zone 1 back on, and that's the area I'm sitting right here. I'm gonna have to get out of the way because it's gonna water this whole area. It's gonna water the garden and this quarter, this segment of the yard. So that's this guy right here. All right, so those guys are going good. 4 heads. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those will cover that area. I'm gonna let it run right now. I've got this area all wet from testing this out. I've got this area. So what'll happen eventually, the automation process using that ratio, you determine how much time you want it to run. So you'll say zone 1 run for 5 minutes, zone 2 run for 3 minutes, zone 3, did I say 2 or 3? I don't know. Well, you get the picture, and you say maybe something 7 minutes, or maybe for a small area, you know, maybe just a couple of minutes. It depends on what you need. So automation is slowly getting in place. All of this takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of effort, and it takes a lot of money, a lot of pesos sometimes to do all these kind of things. But in the long run, especially in retirement, and you want to do other things, and you're away, say you're away on vacation, you are in another country, or you are on a cruise or something like that, you can control everything via your smart device. Also, I don't know if it works here, I hope it does, if you leave it on automatic where you know, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or 2 times a day that it does the watering, based on your schedule that you put on your application, and it rains, or it is going to rain, or there's indication by some of the weather stations in the US on the weather stations it works. I have to find out if that will work here. What it will do is it will pause. It will delay a watering cycle so you don't waste water. That's a cool feature, huh? So hopefully it will work here. So things are going in. Things are going in slowly, but they're getting done correctly. Like I said, I always test above ground, because imagine if I hadn't tested until after everything was buried and I had to dig all that stuff up again. That would have been a nightmare. Well, anyway, I think it's time to close. Let me get this thing edited, and Ness and I still have some practicing to do for an event that we have just a few days off down in San Juan. So time to close, huh? Well, if you enjoyed today's video, please give us a thumbs up, please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed, and you'll be notified the next time we upload a new video. So until such time, you have a wonderful and blessed day.